everyone, welcome back. My name is Honey Asparagus, and we're playing Torment again. Basically, all we have to do is leave. The swirling depths flicker with your with mysteries and powers you cannot define. This is a good start already. Let's get out of here. So the sorrow came and tried to kill us again, apparently. Don't underestimate the value of a good defense. But we detached it from people, and now we have to go back to our real body, and we have to find that. I don't know what that is, but we have to find it. It's a sarcophagus, I remember that.
Where did she fall from? Her body's smashed to talk. It's a wonder she's still breathing.
All I saw was the corona, not her origin point. But look, she's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
We're good like that. It says, oh, will you wait, look, I know that face. Sometimes it reads and sometimes it doesn't. Aligern. What was that? What did you do? Callistege? These names. His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat belted at the waist, supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. Item gained. Mind forge plating. Examine item. That's new. Thanks. Continue. This is the girl, I think. You blame me? She emitted an internal psychological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to the fantastic healing process. Obviously, Aligern. Aligern? God, I don't know. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through the shadows. Gained item, Mind Forge plate. This is the guy. Oh yes, it's obvious, whatever. His voice is grim and clipped, then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal. We know that much. Start talking. His face is hard and set. Scanned thoughts. She's the changing god. She is deliberately blinding herself, but why? I'm no ordinary mortal. What do you mean? You really don't know. He cocks his head to the side. I'm starting to think you're not her. Starting to think, Aligern? Tell me, is it a novel experience? Oh God, Aligern's being more paranoid than usual. How long must I put up with him? It's her face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his composure. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me. You're familiar with the word changing, Aligern. It implies inconstancy. Thus, the changing god may well have changed. Okay. Several versions of her shrug, and she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obvious to anyone that you are newly born. Her most solid self curtsies, while others bow or spin. I and my sisters am Callistege. This is Aligern. We are explorers, knowledge seekers. That's how we came to be in this room. Oops, if I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing god created you, body and mind. You, sire, used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Okay, who's the changing god? Ah, that's something coming from you. She gives him a sidelong glance. The changing god is your sire, dear. He discovered a path to immortality long ago, a means to transfer himself to a new body of his own creation. I don't think he knew, however, that when he abandoned one body, another mind was birthed to fill the void. Oh, he knew all right. He eyes you up and down coldly. The only thing the changing god cares about is himself. He doesn't give a single thought for those he leaves behind. Canthoughts. He sees us as experiments, not humans. If you know the changing god through my body, why do you keep referring to my sire as he? We know your creator through legend and research. He's taken the form of men, women, visitants, and other things. His form is fluid, as his name suggests. but the stories about the changing god always refer to him. It's easier, Aligern shrugs. You are a woman. The changing god is himself. Cool. Thanks, guys. Where are we? What is this place? A sanctum of your sires. The common belief is he has several such places throughout the ninth world. Possibly other worlds as well. We were only just able to gain entry to this one because of your grand entrance. Are there other cast-offs? Dozens, hundreds, who could say? Your sire has been doing this for several centuries. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder any of them survive. So you say I was born when the changing god left, but why am I not dead? I used a cipher to slow your fall further, but the damage still would have killed an ordinary person. But think about it. If you're the kind of person who can make your body into anything you want, what do? If you've constructed bodies for centuries, you want to make each one better than the last. You want to live forever. You're not going to let your life end by accident. No, you'll make strong bodies, fast, powerful. Maybe throw in regeneration while you're at it. The changing god has always been vain. He rarely stays long in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. She looks you up and down, her smile suddenly unnerving. Perhaps the changing god fled because he didn't want to wear those scars of yours. How can you be sure this body's cast off? You mean aside from your miraculous reformation? For one thing, there's your tattoo. All cast-offs have one, though its purpose is beyond me. And then, of course, there's your delicious naivety. Devious. She could be faking it. You don't live hundreds of years without learning to lie convincingly. She sighs in exasperation, then says to you, what do you think? Are you a newborn child, or are you powerful immortal whom death has robbed of his memories? This should be interesting. Oh, Aligern crosses his arms and growls. Fine, what do you think? This should be interesting. I survived that fall and have skills and powers I don't recall learning. What if I am the changing god? There's so many I don't know or remember. I must be a cast-off. You're obviously the changing god, Aligern. What do you think? Am I him? Honestly, don't know. I'm gonna pick 3. Dominant tides changed. Legacy has shifted. That is just the kind of question he would ask. He scrutinizes you in a way he hadn't before. You carry yourself with the same arrogance, that glint of knowing everything about our world and the worlds before it. Your personality, that's very much the same. Blue tide rises a small amount. Okay. If you're not him, you're his goddamn spitting image. He spit as if to emphasize this point. You'll have a lot to answer for from a lot of people like me. And what are you basing that conclusion on, Aligern? Your feelings? Wow. He looks away and his composure slips a little. Gods, you're so rancid sometimes. Yeah, where is he? If he abandoned your body, then his consciousness fled to another. He eyes you keenly. Oh, do stop. The look she gives Aligern is equally piercing, amplified by the withering glares of his sister. If there's one thing we know, the changing god, dear, it's that he always has a contingency. This child was born here. The object of your obsession will have to be reborn somewhere else. What was the blast of energy when I woke? As I was telling my colleague, it was obviously a psychological reaction of some kind. I've never witnessed the birth of a cast-off, but yes, it could very well have been caused by your nascent consciousness. Don't worry. I don't believe it caused any real harm, not to me at least. Really? You've been more abrasive than ever since we came in here. He shoots her a sidelong look. She just can't empathize with other people unless she's experimenting. Are you sure the surge didn't hurt you? If it did, it was damage in our minds. Though, how do you check if I sparked her? I can't tell if there's an R, sorry. I couldn't say. Tough to find normally there. At least we know it didn't hurt Aligern. That skull is thick as organic stone. What do you know about the tides? I've heard that term before, a subject your sire studied in great depth. I'm afraid it isn't my field of inquiry. What are the changing gods' bodies like again? I want to ask you something else. Again. Before I woke, I was in a dreamlike labyrinth with glowing specter. With how hard you hit the ground, I'm surprised that's all you saw. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? An excellent question. Having seen your regenerative abilities in action, I suspect they are primarily physical, a regrowth. If that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degenerative diseases could pose a problem. I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. You're in a dark room, lit by Myrad? I don't know, of blinking lights and holograms from the many machines surrounding you. What about a body that can withstand the sorrow's attack, says a voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind. Physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the Renaissance pod resonance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop Sorrow's hunt once and for all. We just need the right focal point, catalyst. The memory fades. The girl is still talking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. It looks just like the Spectre had described it, a transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered, the sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms in the pieces of the floor. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repair. Or flesh-eating viruses, one presumes disfigurement by the iron wind would likewise be devastating enough too. I think she gets the point. Oops. I saw a vision of myself in another time and place just now. Didn't you see it too? Yeah, let's ask. I saw you stare into space while she graphically described all the ways you could die, but that's about it. Snorts. I only noticed because I did the same thing. Do any of you know anything about the sorrow? I've had my share of sorrows, but never the sorrow. What's that? A disease? Her mouth compresses in a tight line. I know nothing about it. You even know how to fix the crystal chamber there. Quest receives, fallen to earth. Aligern chuckles, then firm and certain he says, not likely. Though it might not be impossible, you need people with appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer. Her distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although the face of the one in the lead remains carefully impassive. You turn to the insane to help a new board. Where's your judgment, Aligern? I would take her to the Order of the Truth. The Order of the Truth, are you mad? They would sooner take us apart. It's the Order of the Truth. Knowledge seekers. They learn who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity to build a brighter future. She smiles brightly. Our friend Aligern here was once one of them. Frauds, quacksalvers, and charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'd not trust them with the changing god's secrets. You're just angry that they couldn't help you with yours. Her echoes tinkle laughter. That's weird. Weirdly written, I think. But I am being too cruel. Dear Aligern, let us take a new friend to the Order. Thank you for your help, but I'll figure this out on my own. Okay, take her. Of course, once I provide an introduction to the priest, we'll have your chamber fixed in no time. You'll end up without your clothes and broken in a ditch while she laughs it off as a good experiment. Probably best I come with you as well. Suspicious as always, Aligern. Child, the world is an exciting place, but it is full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you safely to where you need to be. I'll be right behind you. A sunny smile crosses her face. Scan thoughts. I shudder to think what Aligern might do to the child. Okay, let's go. You've gained your first companions. They will follow the last cast-off and can be controlled during the crisis. You can speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. Companions have their own motivations and personalities, and depending on the choices you make, they may not follow you forever. You will find more companions who can join you as you travel through the ninth world. Take this opportunity to explore your surroundings. You may find items, equipment, and more to assist you. When you are ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the... Boop! A mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. Examine the housing. Door machinery quick fingers attempt to scavenge what you can from the arm's housing. So I'm gonna... If you select a companion's portrait in the effort window, they can assist the last cast-off with some challenges. Your companion's stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, ability, and statistics that make the challenge easier. Companions cannot assist in a crisis, only use their stats during their turn. So let's try this guy. I don't know. You've fully depleted one of your stat pool, might, speed, or intellect. To recover your stat pool, you can find a place to sleep or use consumable items. Okay, so you don't get those back. Success! Taking care to avoid the sparks, you extract several handfuls of shiny trinkets and coin-like objects. You recognize their value at once. Such objects would be accepted as shins, the informal currency in most regions of the world. So you gather them up and take them with you. Item gained, crayfish. Examine the housing. Not important.
Fine.
But like, pick it up though. Shin. Something. Heals consumable stuff. Heal speed. Oh, let's take all that.
Yes.
A slate black, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of light on it is casing blazes into life. An image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arch rises over a jagged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there, at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me, the device, or the intelligence that within it says, each word carefully etched with. Who are you? What was that arch you showed me? What commands do you recognize? Show me the arch again. Command was not understood. What commands do you recognize? The three lights throb irritably. Heated air sighs from the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind. Far too fast to read, you rub your eyes groaning, and the intelligence portals. Command me, it says smugly. Who are you? Command not understood. Smashing! Kick the device. This is why it reminds me of like a text-based adventure, because you would like type this stuff out and get frustrated and then just be like, kill it. Like, and then it would die, and I don't know. Okay. Slower. If anything, the list pours through your mind even faster. Show the arch again. The device's triangle of light throbs in time with the growl of the engines within its casing, and the mental image unfolds once more. You see a huge crystalline arch on a jagged field. Arch is divided into rectangular cells, all of which are numbered, and they appear to be transparent and empty, except the arch's pinnacle. One cell is lit in a brilliant, pulsating emerald. The number 0 is printed on the sides. Try to remember more details about this place. The memory blossoms. You stand before this arch, eyeing the last two active cells in once impenetrable Lugum Vo. Unleash cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell far above. You flinch from the memory, and it falls apart as you raise your eyes to the arch as it is now. Cell 29 is dark now. Only cell 0 remains. Examine the jagged wasteland. Dry grit whirls across the empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arch is the faint outline of what seems to be a broken tower, except that it is slowly stretching into gray air. Same thing? Far beyond the arch, the broken tower reaches red threaded clouds. Okay. Unleash the contents of cell 0. You found a cipher. Ciphers are objects that can trigger a powerful effect, but can only be used once. Ciphers and your cipher limit score are displayed in a special section of the inventory screen. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers than your cipher limit, or you experience unpleasant side effects. Amazing. The device's lights flutter with incandescent shock, then focuses on you flickering. Cell 0 will now be unleashed. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is safe. Use no caution whatsoever. Strange contents of cell 0 materialize before you. Warning, all cells are now vacant. Shuddering Lugum Foe, the intelligence lights wink out one by one. Interesting that a cast-off can command the changing god's machines. He crosses his arms across his chest. How'd you do that? She rolls her eyes at Aligern, then she looks at you. He'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye. Though I admit curiosity. Oh yeah, how did you do that? Maybe I am. I remember something. I don't think it was my memory. Residual memories of past consciousness. Really fascinating. Scan thoughts. How many memories might this child have access to? I must know. Oh, don't act like you know what that was. It's just as likely the machine triggered something past her amnesia. She gives you a meaningful look, then mimics teeth gnashing like an animal gnawing a crackle. So weird. Nothing. Okay, so we're actually past our limit, so let's not go out of this room or anything. Let's just go ahead and pause it and end the episode here. So if you like this one, give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. And if you would like other ways to support me, please check out the description below. I've got some links for you guys to check out. And I'm actually kind of liking this game. It's a little bit slower, I have to admit. But it's cool. It has a lot of lore, and it's laid out really well. And it has a lot of story. And I like story-heavy games. And this is it. I'm just sorry my reading skills and my coughing gets in the way. But it's okay. Hey guys, do you like that video? Share with your friends. Have a grievance? Tell me about it. Otherwise, like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Thanks for watching.